Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Yuck, Dumb, Boo, and Bum, the classic NES baseball review show. When there's hard to find a game more classic than this one, RBI Baseball. And so when it really comes down to this is a game a lot of people have played, spent a lot of time on. I know I have. We'll go over a lot of the stuff you know, a couple things maybe you don't, and have a little bit of fun with this one because this is really a legendary game for this system. So first thing here when you get to this point is you've got 8 teams, 4 American League teams, 4 National League teams, and of course the AL and NL All-Star teams. Now you can actually play those teams against regular teams, but let's not do that in this. That's kind of like cheating. So let's go with Houston. Houston is Nolan Ryan, and then St. Louis I think was in the '87 World Series, so we'll play St. Louis. You've got your 4 pitchers up there. 2 of them are starters, 2 of them are relievers. Obviously, top 2 always are starters. One important note, though, if you end up using one of those guys to start, don't use the other guy if you plan on playing more than one game through. Because those 2 starters, once you use them for a game, they're not eligible to pitch the next game. And it's really tough to go 9 innings with those 2 relievers that really can't get past more than about 2 innings on their own. So we got it set up. Nolan Ryan obviously is the guy I'm going to start. So let's take a moment and stand for the RBI Baseball National Anthem. That's one of the 3 different soundtracks that they use for the game. You can hear the second one right now. All 3 are very easily recognizable to anybody who's played these games over the years. And there, they'll play another one now. Anytime there's someone on base, they'll play this one for either team. So this is usually the one you end up hearing a lot of. Now, one of the things with this game as well, when you're hitting at least, is it does actually have some pretty intuitive feels. Oh, but watch this. See who's on first? He's going to take second right there. They're not even going to throw. That is one of the things with this game. If you've got that runner on third, don't send him home right away. Slow down. Let your other guy get as many bases as possible. There's a couple of things here and there that you can exploit in this game, that being one of them. The other is the fact that, again, very, very slow ground balls you saw. And that really should have been taken by the infield, and instead it's turned into a 2-run triple. So that's how you get a lot of your really quality hits, is not hitting the ball in the air, but keeping it on the ground. As soon as I say that, I hit a ball in the air. But that one's going to be a home run. We've seen some pretty elaborate home run graphics so far. Nothing special with this one. Just fireworks, which is nice. They play for either team that hits a home run. So, you know, somebody at Old Busch Stadium's getting fired for that, for setting off the fireworks for a Houston home run. As you can see, a lot of this is just keeping the ball on the ground. And what I was trying to mention a little bit before we ended up with a couple things there was that you saw there I swung a little late. It'll go opposite field. If you swing early, you'll pull the ball. So the mechanics for that are actually pretty good in this game. Another thing that's really good at the controls are pretty natural. You press down into the next base. He's not going to make it. You press down into the next base. B into the next base, I should say. And that'll be how you advance. And then A and the base you're on bring you back rather than having to press up or down the whole way. So to me, it's always been more of a natural feel. And that's actually one of the things I've had trouble getting used to in the other games when I've been doing that. So we put up a 4 spot the first inning. So here's our chance to see Nolan Ryan on the mound. He's probably almost 20 years into his career by the time this game comes out. He goes for another few. I remember him beating up somebody when he was, I think, in his mid-40s. Someone charged the mound. You don't mess with Nolan Ryan. One of the other things you're noticing here is I just keep working the ball in and out to get these strikes. So when you're facing a left-handed batter as a right-handed pitcher, you come inside on the first one. Next one now, you got to try to paint the outside corner. He can't reach it because he backed up. If I throw back across his body there, he's backing up. He can't hit it. I'll show you what to do for righties on righties. when we come up to that again. But looks like we batted around in the first. Ooh, here's going to be an exciting one. I just hit a chopper over the pitcher's head. Watch how far this guy gets on this one. In fact, we're going to push for home. I think we're going to get it, especially with a leadoff guy, because those are usually some of your faster guys. So that chopper that just went over the pitcher's head, inside the park home run. Bless this game sometimes. And again, like pretty much all these games of this generation, all the fielders kind of move together, except for the ones that are planted on bases. So if that shortstop goes back to try and get the ball, he doesn't get it. The center fielder's already run back because he has to go get it right now. So see, the two fielders run in, and they're going to both run out together. This guy's a little bit slower than the last guy, so he's not getting an inside the park home run out of this, but he will get a triple. And this was, I think Davis hit the home run last time. Oh, better send him back. We got lucky with the pitcher in the way. That's one of the things. Theoretically, that guy should act as a cutoff man, but in reality, he usually just slows down the ball. So sometimes in these games, it gets very frustrating when they get in the way. This game, that doesn't happen that often. Oh, look at this. We're about to see an error. They don't happen all that often, but that throw missed the third baseman. Takes so long for the pitcher to wobble over and get it that, sure enough, 3 bases and an error, I guess we'll call that. That shouldn't be a home run. That's a softball home run. Incidentally, RBI Baseball was what I named my softball team. We're a few seasons in as that. There's lots of good choices for that. Actually, there's teams all over the league that'll pick up those names. It's a common thing, right? What you're going to name your team after. Actually, for me personally, though, I say that. What I would have probably preferred, my first choice was literary, to become the Toilet Paper Tigers. So I'm just going to point out here, on that play, they're always throwing to the lead bag, especially with less than 2 outs, even if it's not a forced play. So watch this. I'm going to hold my guy at third. And now as soon as I do this, we'll get him to come back. And now Nolan Ryan easily gets second. They won't throw back on that one. Another note, something I really didn't expect in this situation. We're up 11-0 already. If you're up by 11 or more runs... Ooh, and that's an error by the second baseman. This really isn't going well for St. Louis. If you're up by 10 or more runs after any inning, the game ends. Now, this is the whole inning, of course, not just the half inning. We're the visitors, so the other team will get their at-bats. And again, see, look at that. The only play they realistically had there was a third, but he threw home from left field. Not an advisable play, that's for sure. So, as you see, the fielders, again, kind of have that choppy movement. They kind of wobble to where they're supposed to go. And see, is this sort of, you just see, it looks like they're basically rectangles wobbling towards the ball, which is essentially what they are. So your runners go considerably faster than both the fielders and the ball out there, which is why you see so many doubles and triples and even that inside the park home run we had. So we'll see, this ball might get out. If it doesn't, he can probably tag up. Because again, it's going to take way too long to get there. 16-0 in the second inning. Okay, so I've played this game a little bit, but actually this might be the game, quite honestly, of any of the games I've played, as there's another home run, that I really played the most. This is a game I had as a kid. I absolutely loved it. The arcade-style game, they actually did have an arcade RBI Baseball game. It was a little different, had some different teams. I think a quarter only gave you about a couple of innings, too. On the flip side of this, this is a really popular game for emulators, relatively easily modded. So you get a lot of different variations of teams that can be in there. I remember playing, I think, a 2015 version of this game. Here's something. Look at that. It says 3 runs there. We actually had 13 in that inning, but it just couldn't put them all up. So this might be the first time. This might be a yuck, dumb, boo, and bum first, where I actually have an opportunity to complete an entire game within one episode. So we'll give that a try. And while we're here, righty on righty. So what you do here, you're going to move inside, put that ball outside. You get a lot of movement on these balls. So what you're going to do here, see how he's nice and close to the plate? You don't move it yet. And then as soon as the ball releases your hand, you press that right button, so he backs up, moves forward, and after he backs up, he can't get to that ball anymore. So I could just strike out the side and end the game, but I think we want to add a little bit of a defensive portion of this, so let's let them hit a ball. So shortstop is on autopilot running to third, which is, we actually saw that in Tecmo Baseball as well. But you get the idea as well here, right? Pitching across the body. Now, one of the things that happens with this is that you get a guy like Nolan Ryan. He can do this for a good 4 or 5 innings, but some of the weaker pitchers in this game, for starters, Rick Russell, can't even get through 2 innings like this. So you do have to change your pitchers frequently enough for that to happen. Otherwise, you're just counting on your defense. Speaking of counting on my defense, see if they'll help me if I throw a ball at this guy. This is one of the more difficult things to do. It is not impossible to hit a batter in this game, but it is very, very close to impossible to hit him, particularly when you're playing in this one-player mode. So, while we're here, because we're not really going to get a chance to see any pinch hitters at this rate, I just want to show you it'll be the same thing whether you pinch hit for a hitter or get a fielder, or rather a pitcher in there. You can switch around, pick any of these guys, and then they'll come. We'll bring in somebody else because why not? Game is almost over as it is. One of the best things, though, with this, as you can see, we'll just let that ball sit in there, is they do have a couple of different ways to throw. I did throw that ball away on purpose, but that is one of the best things to do in this game, is you can just throw that ball away whenever you get a play at first like that, or third. First or third, I should say. So, again, all the fielders are moving one direction, so my right fielder moving back towards the fence there. So, this game doesn't let you go for long, but it will let you go long enough to do that. Now, the first baseman throws away the ball. He'll refuse to get it, so someone else is going to have to come across the diamond. And as you see, the way they don't really move that quickly. Diagonally is your best bet, and even that is kind of pushing it. So like we said, a couple of guys have sidearm deliveries. You see Heath Kerfield's got that. Brett Saberhagen as well for the American League All-Stars has that too. The All-Stars are the actual All-Star teams. They're not actually comprised of guys that are only on the 4 teams, which would make it very small. And you get a chance to see kind of a couple of things here. Let me pull this out right now. You can do this and then run and throw to different bases. However, you cannot throw to your own base. Sometimes they'll let you do that. Base is loaded. You do that, and the guy just kind of flips the ball in the air and does a little dance move. They don't let you do that here. So Vince Coleman is actually one of the few guys in this game. We'll pitch to him. He was actually lightning fast on the base paths. You'll see him. He's still moving. He's going to get up close to second base by the time that foul ball comes in here. And he doesn't seem to be doing much other than fouling the ball off. So, this is going to be a record game, I think, done in 2 innings. Let's just finish him off right here. Oh, he didn't go for the ball. Yeah, that's one of the things, right? They dutifully go to their base, but unless that ball is in line with them, it does not work. So, interesting. St. Louis might be the weakest hitting team in this, just from what I've seen. Ozzie Smith is their number 2 hitter. Tim Herr, who is, I think, a .282 batting average and 2 home runs, is their 3 hitter. So, I don't know how that works out, but that's just, those are just awful numbers. Interesting note, you might be able to get some situations here. I'm going to try it on the next guy if he hits the ball in play. Not really a great hitter. You can sort of trick them into going for an extra bag. If I throw to the first baseman here, I'm going to get him to throw to the third baseman. Third baseman's going to run off the bag and throw it away. So he's going to advance. But my left fielder is close enough to that ball. So I can get him to come here. He's just going to run into it, and then, ooh, that was my bad. Okay, you know what? Enough messing around. Let's end this game. How do we do it? Righty on righty. Pull that ball away. Jack Clark, you got no chance. And that's the ball game. As you can see, 17-6. Oh, I let them get a lot of runs back there. So you see here a little newspaper clipping, except for the animated guys in the corner. They go, whoo, hey. Yeah. Interesting note with those guys as well. If you win 2 games, they do it 2 times. 3 games, 3 times, and so forth. So it's actually pretty neat as you go along. So let me just bring you up to this. After you beat one team, they put you right on to the next team. So San Francisco, after San Francisco is the American League, they have no qualms. They'll let you play the American League in that. So, and then again, Nolan Ryan's no longer available for it, even though he only pitched, I think, an inning and 2/3. So that's how we do it. It's always a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next time. RBI Baseball, play us out.